There's a truth that could save 90% of marriages, but most women will never accept it. They'll call it sexist, outdated, wrong. They'll get angry just hearing it. But here it is. You cannot simultaneously demand everything from a man while giving nothing back and expect him to stay. You cannot treat marriage like a service industry where you're the customer and he's the provider. Until women understand that marriage is a two-way exchange, not a one-way extraction, there will be no happy marriages. Let me explain what this really means. The unrealistic modern expectations are killing relationships before they start. Women today want a man who makes 6 figures but is home by 5 p.m, who's emotionally available but never weak, who helps with housework but maintains masculine frame, who's romantic like a movie but practical like an accountant, who reads her mind but also surprises her. It's not a partner they want. It's a shape-shifting servant who exists solely to meet their ever-changing needs. I had a client whose wife gave him a list of improvements needed to save their marriage. 23 items. Everything from earning more money to being more spontaneous to helping more with kids to working out more. When he asked what she was working on for the marriage, she said, "I'm here, aren't I? That's the modern dynamic. Her presence is the gift. Everything else is his job." This idealized image of a partner comes from social media poison. Every day, women consume content about high-value men and what you deserve and never settle. They see curated relationships, fictional standards, impossible benchmarks. Then they look at their real husband, tired from work, human, flawed, and feel cheated. They're comparing the emotional entitlement has reached absurd levels. Many women believe their emotions are their partner's responsibility. Feeling sad? He should fix it. Feeling insecure? He should reassure constantly. Feeling bored? He should entertain. But reverse it. When he's struggling, stressed, exhausted, suddenly that's also his problem to solve. The emotional labour only flows one direction. A guy told me his wife expects 2 hours of emotional check-ins daily. 2 hours of talking about her feelings, her day, her concerns. When he tried sharing his work stress, she said he was trauma dumping and needed therapy instead. She wanted unlimited emotional support while offering none. That's not partnership. That's emotional vampirism. The reciprocity imbalance is what actually kills marriages. Relationships are exchanges. Time for time, effort for effort, care for care. But modern culture tells women they deserve everything by virtue of existing. They shouldn't have to earn affection, respect, desire. Just being a woman is enough. Meanwhile, men must constantly prove worth through provision, performance, perfection. Here's the projection of superiority that's everywhere now. Many women see themselves as morally flawless within relationships. Every conflict is his fault. Every problem stems from his inadequacy. She's the long-suffering saint. He's the project that needs fixing. This isn't partnership. It's a rehabilitation centre where she's the staff and he's the patient. I counsel couples where the woman literally cannot name a single thing she does wrong in the relationship. Not one. Asked about contribution to problems, they say things like, "I care too much," or "I give too much." These aren't flaws, they're humble brags. The inability to see their own contribution to dysfunction guarantees it continues. The collapse under pressure is inevitable. When someone faces constant criticism, endless demands, zero appreciation, they break. Men don't leave marriages over big things usually. They leave over 10,000 paper cuts. The daily dismissal, the casual contempt, the endless expectation without appreciation. One day they just stopped trying because trying never made a difference. The false narrative of victimhood has become standard. I do everything for this family. Really? Who pays the mortgage? Who maintains the cars? Who handles the investments? That's different. That's just money. But when she does laundry, that's heroic sacrifice. The selective accounting where her contributions count double and his count nothing is exhausting. A client's wife posted on social media about being a married single mother while he worked 70-hour weeks to pay for the house, cars, private school, her yoga membership, and the nanny. But sure, she's the victim because he missed a school play. The victimhood narrative requires erasing his contributions entirely. The control disguised as care is manipulative. I just want you to be your best self, translation. I want to redesign you. Many women enter relationships planning to change the man, not support him, not grow with him. change him, like he's a house they bought to flip. Then they're shocked when he resents being treated like a renovation project. The need for self-reflection is completely absent. Before blaming him for every problem, maybe examine your own behaviour. Are you pleasant to come home to? Do you show appreciation? Do you contribute equally? Do you create peace or chaos? But self-reflection requires admitting imperfection, and that threatens the superiority narrative. The overdiagnosis of abuse has diluted real suffering. Every boundary is controlling. Every disagreement is gaslighting. Every expectation is emotional abuse. The language of genuine trauma has been weaponized for ordinary relationship conflicts. When everything is abuse, nothing is abuse, and real victims get lost in the noise. I've seen women call their husbands abusive for asking them to contribute financially, requesting they limit contact with an ex, expecting help with housework, wanting intimacy more often, suggesting they drink less. These aren't abuse. They're normal relationship negotiations. But the victim narrative is too powerful to abandon. The erosion of empathy goes both ways. When someone constantly criticizes you, demands from you, dismisses your needs, you stop caring about theirs. Empathy requires reciprocity. If it only flows one direction, it eventually stops flowing at all. This is how marriages become two strangers sharing bills. The importance of basic gestures is completely missed. Men aren't complicated. A meal cooked with care, a genuine thank you, physical affection, peace when we come home. These simple things mean everything, but modern women are taught these are subservient or pick-me behaviour, so men get nothing while being expected to give everything. A client nearly cried telling me his wife made his favourite meal after months of tension. One simple gesture of care hit him harder than any grand romantic gesture could. Men are starving for basic kindness in their own homes, but acknowledging this would require admitting men have emotional needs too. The emotional invisibility of men is tragic. Men experience depression, anxiety, fear, doubt, exhaustion. But these are inconvenient to the narrative that women are the emotional labourers, so male emotion is either ignored or pathologized. He's not burned out, he's lazy. He's not depressed, he's weak. He's not lonely, he's needy. The communication breakdown happens because of assumption. She assumes he knows what she needs. He assumes she says what she means. She speaks in hints, he speaks directly. She wants emotional validation. He offers solutions. Neither is wrong, but without understanding the difference, every conversation becomes conflict. Here's a perfect example. Wife says, "The house is messy." She means, "I'm overwhelmed and need help." He hears, "The house is messy," and agrees. She gets angry he didn't offer to help. He's confused because she didn't ask. This isn't communication, it's expecting telepathy. The two extremes of feminine behaviour both destroy marriages. The martyr who does everything while complaining constantly, and the controller who manages everything while respecting nothing. Both positions prevent partnership. One makes herself indispensable, but insufferable. The other makes herself the boss of someone who didn't apply for the job. The need for emotional literacy is critical. Learn to express needs without attack. I need help with dinner, not you never help with anything. Learn to receive feedback without defensiveness. Learn to disagree without destruction. But this requires admitting you don't already know everything, which threatens the superiority complex. The equality in responsibility means both people own the relationship's success or failure. Not 50-50 on every task, but 100-100 on commitment. Both fully invested, both fully accountable. But modern culture tells women they're prizes to be won, not partners to contribute. This creates entitlement that poisons everything. The misuse of moral high ground isolates women from their partners. When you position yourself as morally superior, connection becomes impossible. Intimacy requires equality, vulnerability, shared humanity. But if you're the enlightened one and he's the project, there's no room for real connection. The consequences of devaluation are predictable. When someone feels unseen, unappreciated, devalued, they emotionally withdraw. This isn't punishment, it's self-preservation. You can only pour into an empty cup for so long before you have nothing left to give. Then she wonders why he's distant when she spent years pushing him away. The false belief in self-sacrifice creates resentment. Many women overfunction in relationships, doing things nobody asked for, then resenting the lack of appreciation. Making elaborate meals nobody requested, organising systems nobody wanted, creating standards nobody agreed to. then feeling victimized when others don't celebrate their unsolicited labor. I knew a woman who spent weekends organizing and reorganizing the house, exhausting herself, then raging that nobody appreciated her effort. Her husband didn't want the house reorganized, he wanted to relax with his wife. But she created work to feel valuable, then resented everyone for the work she created. The relationship as coexistence, not fusion, is healthier. You're two individuals choosing to share life, not one entity. Maintain separate interests, friendships, goals. Come together by choice, not obligation. But many women see any independence as abandonment, any autonomy as betrayal. The shared authority in parenting gets destroyed when mothers position themselves as the superior parent. Father knows best became mother knows everything and children suffer. Kids need both parents' influence, but many women gatekeep parenting while complaining about doing it all. A client's wife undermined every parenting decision he made. Bedtime he set. She'd change it. Punishment he gave, she'd reverse it. Then complained he wasn't involved enough with the kids. He stopped trying because trying meant fighting, and the kids watched their father get overruled constantly. The pre-parental communication should be mandatory. Before having kids, discuss discipline philosophy, education priorities, religious upbringing, financial planning. But many couples assume they'll figure it out, then spend 18 years fighting while children absorb the chaos. The emotional regulation in conflict determines everything. Decisions made in anger create permanent damage. Words said in hurt can't be unsaid. Actions taken in spite echo forever. Learn to pause, breathe, think before responding. But this requires admitting you might be wrong in the moment, which challenges the superiority narrative. The human imperfection reality needs acceptance. Everyone brings baggage, trauma, flaws, limitations. Expecting a perfect partner while being imperfect yourself is delusional. But social media sells the perfect relationship, so reality always disappoints. The choosing reality over fantasy is maturity. Real love isn't finding someone perfect. It's finding someone whose imperfections you can live with. It's choosing the actual person in front of you, not the potential person you imagine. But that requires abandoning the renovation project mindset. The mutual acknowledgement hunger is universal. Everyone wants to be seen, appreciated, valued. When one person monopolizes recognition while denying it to their partner, resentment builds. Marriage requires celebrating each other, not competing for who sacrifices more. The danger of superiority mindset is isolation. When you position yourself as the relationship's savior, you become its destroyer. Nobody wants to be married to someone who sees them as inferior. Partnership requires equality, even when roles differ. The cycle of manipulation through emotion exhausts everyone. Using tears to win arguments, anger to control behavior, withdrawal to punish disagreement. These aren't communication, they're warfare. And warfare has casualties, usually the relationship itself. A woman I counseled admitted she cried during arguments because her husband would cave. Not because she was hurt, but because tears worked. When he finally stopped responding to tears, she escalated to threats. When those stopped working, she escalated to divorce. She destroyed her marriage rather than communicate directly. The therapeutic responsibility belongs to individuals. Your trauma is yours to heal. Your patterns are yours to break. Your growth is your responsibility. Expecting your partner to heal you while you remain unchanged is relationship malpractice. The reality of emotional fatigue in men is ignored. Men also get emotionally depleted, burned out, empty. But acknowledging this would require admitting men have emotional needs, which threatens the narrative that emotional labor is exclusively female. The distortion by online psychology has created mass paranoia. Every relationship video, every pop psychology article, every TikTok therapist has women diagnosing their partners with disorders and themselves with victimhood. Real therapy has been replaced with confirmation bias. The reciprocal compassion creates real intimacy. When both partners recognize each other's humanity, vulnerability, struggle, that's when connection happens. But this requires abandoning the hero-victim narrative for the more complex reality of two flawed humans trying to love. The awareness of emotional cycles prevents permanent decisions from temporary feelings. Anger passes, hurt heals, disappointment fades. Making life-altering choices during emotional peaks guarantees regret. But patience requires admitting current feelings aren't permanent truth. The accountability and self-perception changes everything. Instead of asking what's wrong with him, ask what's my contribution to this problem. Instead of why doesn't he understand, ask how am I communicating. This isn't self-blame, it's self-awareness. The practical communication skills solve most problems. Before arguing, verify understanding. What I heard you say is that right? This simple technique prevents 80% of conflicts, but it requires humility to admit you might have misunderstood. The clarity of language prevents unnecessary conflict. Say what you mean what you say. Don't hint, don't assume, don't expect mind reading. But this requires abandoning the test mentality where unclear communication is used to evaluate whether he really knows you. The maturity in dialogue shows emotional intelligence. Checking understanding isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Clarifying intentions isn't stupidity, it's smart. Verifying meaning isn't dense, it's dedicated. But this threatens the superiority complex that assumes perfect communication. The acceptance of human complexity means accepting contradiction. Your partner will sometimes be generous and sometimes selfish, sometimes patient and sometimes reactive, sometimes loving and sometimes distant, just like you. Expecting consistency from others while being inconsistent yourself is hypocrisy. The lover's conscious choice understanding transforms relationships. Love isn't just feeling, it's choosing. Every day, choosing this person despite their flaws. Choosing to see good when bad is easier. Choosing to stay when leaving is simpler. But choice requires effort, and entitlement expects effortless rewards. The partnership as equality principle seems simple but isn't practiced. Equal doesn't mean identical. It means equally valued, equally heard, equally important. Different roles, same respect. Different contributions, same appreciation. But this threatens the narrative that one gender contributes more. The critique of romantic euphoria reveals immaturity. Believing love should always feel exciting, passionate, overwhelming. That's adolescent fantasy. Adult love is quieter, steadier, deeper. It's choosing to stay through boredom, conflict, difficulty. But that's not Instagram-worthy, so it's devalued. The cyclical nature of emotions means accepting valleys with peaks. Relationships have seasons. Sometimes spring excitement, sometimes winter distance. Maturity means weathering all seasons, not abandoning ship during winter. But that requires long-term thinking in a short-term culture. The redefining of masculine and feminine roles needs balance. Strength isn't domination or submission, it's mutual support. Both partners strong in different ways, both vulnerable in different moments. But this requires abandoning the power struggle for partnership. The simplicity as wisdom principle solves complexity. Most relationship problems aren't complicated. Show appreciation, be kind, communicate clearly, take responsibility, share burdens. Simple actions, difficult to practice when ego interferes. The union as shared growth mindset transforms everything. Marriage isn't a battlefield where someone wins. It's not therapy where someone gets fixed. It's two people growing together, helping each other become better. But this requires seeing your partner as equal, not inferior. The love beyond perfection is the truth women need to understand. Your partner will never be perfect, neither will you. Marriage isn't finding someone flawless, it's finding someone whose flaws you choose to accept. It's loving the real person, not the imagined ideal. Here's what many women don't understand about the modern dating landscape they've helped create. When you demand perfection while offering criticism, when you expect provision while providing contempt, when you require emotional labor while denying emotional support, men adapt. Not by becoming what you demand, but by withdrawing entirely. The marriage rates aren't dropping because men are failing. They're dropping because men are opting out of a game where they can only lose. The fantasy narrative sold to women is that they can have it all without giving anything. Career success without sacrifice. Family life without compromise. Romance without reciprocation. Support without supporting. This isn't feminism, it's fantasy. And when reality doesn't match fantasy, instead of adjusting expectations, many women conclude the problem is men. I see the damage daily. Women in their 30s and 40s, successful careers, nice apartments, wondering where all the good men went. The good men are there. They're just not signing up for one-sided contracts. They watch their fathers get destroyed in divorce courts. They've seen their friends become ATMs with visitation rights. They've learned that modern marriage often means maximum responsibility with minimum authority. The therapeutic industrial complex has made this worse. Every woman is told she's traumatized, triggered, deserving of endless support. Every relationship problem is reframed as his failure to meet her needs. Therapy has gone from healing actual wounds to validating every complaint, and men are always the problem to be solved, never the partner to be appreciated. Here's a truth that hurts. Many modern women have priced themselves out of the relationship market. They want a man who earns more, achieves more, provides more, while they simultaneously demand he spend less time working, be more available emotionally, and never expect traditional reciprocation. It's like demanding a Ferrari at Corolla prices, then wondering why the dealership is empty. The social media comparison trap has destroyed realistic expectations. Every woman sees the curated highlights of others' relationships and wonders why their reality doesn't match. They don't see the fights, the boredom, the daily grind. They see vacation photos and think that's what relationships should be constantly. Then they look at their partner watching TV after work and feel cheated. The devaluation of masculine contribution is systematic. Building a career to provide for family? That's bare minimum. Maintaining the house and cars? He should do that anyway. Providing security and stability? That's just expected. But her emotional labour? Revolutionary. Her domestic contribution? Heroic. The accounting is rigged, and men know it. What's particularly cruel is the moving goalpost dynamic. He meets one standard, she creates another. He earns more money, now he needs to be home more. He's home more, now he needs to be more ambitious. He's romantic, now he's trying too hard. He gives space, now he's distant. The game is unwinnable by design. The emotional burnout in men is reaching critical mass. You can only be told you're not enough for so long before you believe it. You can only fail to meet impossible standards so many times before you stop trying. Men aren't becoming weak, they're becoming exhausted. There's a difference between can't and won't, and many men have moved from can't meet expectations to won't even try. The death of gratitude has killed more marriages than infidelity. When someone stops appreciating what you do, you stop doing it. When effort goes unnoticed, effort stops. When contribution is expected rather than appreciated, contribution becomes resentment. But gratitude requires acknowledging value, and that threatens the narrative that he's lucky to have her. Here's what sustainable marriage actually looks like. Two people who see each other's contribution, who appreciate each other's sacrifice, who support each other's growth, who accept each other's limitations, who choose each other daily. Not one person demanding service from another, but two people serving each other. Not one person being fixed by another, but two people growing together. The solution isn't complicated, but it requires something modern culture resists: humility. The humility to admit you're not perfect. The humility to see your partner's contribution. The humility to appreciate rather than criticize. The humility to give what you want to receive. But humility threatens the superiority narrative, so it's rejected. Until women understand that men are partners, not projects. That marriage is exchange, not extraction. That respect flows both ways, not one. There will be no happy marriages. The current model is unsustainable. Men are walking away in unprecedented numbers. The birth rate is collapsing. The family structure is dissolving. And still, the response is to blame men harder rather than examine the system. This isn't about returning to the 1950s. It's about creating something sustainable for the future, where both partners contribute according to their abilities, where both sacrifice for the relationship, where both are appreciated for what they bring, where both matter equally. This shouldn't be controversial, but in a culture that's taught women they deserve everything for nothing, it's revolutionary. The truth that will save marriages is simple: reciprocity. Give what you want to get. Appreciate what you receive, contribute what you can, accept what you can't change, choose growth over blame, choose partnership over superiority, choose reality over fantasy, choose love over ego. I want to hear from married people. What truth does your spouse not understand that's killing your marriage? What would change everything if they could just grasp it? Drop your thoughts below, because these conversations need to happen before more marriages become casualties of impossible expectations and absent accountability. The future of relationships depends on both people showing up as partners, not one person serving while the other critiques. Until this truth is understood, there will be no happy marriages.